Hello and welcome to the Let's Talk Sports Show. Apologies there, I put the wrong mic on. You are listening to the Let's Talk Sports Show on Calon 105 FM. It's 8 o'clock. It's been a lovely day. And guess what? There's only one more show after this until the World Cup. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? 4 years. It's nearly over. The wait is nearly over. I've been having to watch really bad TV waiting for that World Cup. You know, EastEnders, Coronation Street, you name it. But hey, we're 1 week away. Anyway, I should have said what was coming up on the show, but I'll tell you after this music break on Calon 105 FM. Well, welcome back to the Let's Talk Sports Show, and you're with Jamie Davies, Conor Porter, Jack Price, and I was going to say Joe Stanley, but I've already said his name. It's already been, the sun's already got to my head. And Joe Stanley is actually wearing a Brazil versus Croatia game T-shirt. How was the game, Joe?
It was good, thank you.
When I moved to the
that's some fantastic analysis right there. It was a good game. Imagine if Henry Winter did that for the Times every week. I mean,
that's him every week anyway.
It was a good game.
He puts on Twitter, team sheet for tonight. Cheers, thanks. I can't stand him. Anyway,
there's nothing wrong with that.
But it's like, say something fun. Let's have some fun in it. No, he has to be contracted. And
we've been asking that for you for a long time.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
It's a fantastic game of football. There you go.
Oh, it's an extra 6 words on there.
One word.
It was a good game. It was enjoyable. Fantastic atmosphere. Obviously, you don't need to do the hand gesture, Jack. Obviously, 0-0 at half time, but it was end-to-end action. Croatia held their own. When Modric went off midway through the second half, then that's when they started to wane and started to lose something in the game. Obviously, Neymar coming at half time. Fantastic solo goal where it took it past a couple of defenders and rifled it in off the crossbar. And then obviously Bobby Firmino scored late on when he dinked it over the keeper in front of the cop.
And for Neymar as well, scoring, he's one of the biggest players of the tournament coming up. Had to do it, get it done. But as well as that, Firmino scoring in Anfield, that's just normal to him. But only the difference was he's wearing a yellow shirt yesterday.
And the difference, he performed very well. Gabriel Jesus didn't do too bad up top, but he was very quiet. He couldn't get the ball to stick when it come on.
Well, he's no guard.
When Bobby came on, he seemed to control the ball well. When the ball was up in the air, he could bring it down really well. I thought Alisson in goal. We looked home at Anfield. Was at home. So.
You did say that on our reaction video.
Yeah.
Are you confident he's going to be a Liverpool goalkeeper?
Anything's possible, isn't it, in this chance?
Well, in 5 years' time, or now?
It just depends. Real Madrid obviously want him as well, and Chelsea have been linked, as Jack was telling me before, so we'll see what happens, but hopefully he can be a Liverpool player on the end of the window.
He could join the Champions of Europe then, not the nearly Champions of Europe. Sorry, Jerry, I know it's been over a week, but I met up with an Everton fan this morning, and it was the best day of his life, and I said to him it was for me as well.
But that's because they can't get anywhere near a European final, so what do they know?
Yeah, they didn't lose it, I guess.
But they went out in the group stages of the Europa League, so that proves how poor they are.
It's a tough competition.
That's a tough competition. Yeah, we had to win it in our fourth attempt.
We've already got 3 of them.
Yeah, but you lost in 2016 as well. You're just known for losing finals, aren't you?
It is what it is, isn't it?
I'm sorry, Joe. I'm feeling like you're my punch bag this morning. I do apologize. It's this afternoon now. Actually, it's this evening. It's the evening, of course. The day's gone so quick.
Stop breaking the fourth wall, okay? Stop it.
But all I can say is that we can give you latest transfer rumours on Let's Talk Sport. We predict it. Anyway, let's go back to the game on Saturday. England and Nigeria. Now, that was first half, very convincing. Second half, okay, we still came out on top, but Connor, there was glimpses there where the likes of Sterling weren't doing it for me, or Rashford, or maybe, Welbeck didn't have much time, I guess, but it's just one of those performances where, in all fairness to Southgate, the starting lineup looks great, but as we've said before, it's the depth again.
Yeah, there's still a little bit of nicks and knacks that they need to change in that England squad, I think. And a lot of that was proven during the game on Saturday against Nigeria at Wembley. For example, I think Danny Rose, for me, he can't compete against Ashley Young for the starting slot.
I'm surprised he even came on.
Because he just looks so out of place. Like, I imagine him to play against Costa Rica later this week, but I can't see him starting ahead of Ashley Young. And I think, as well, in my opinion, Trippier locked down that right wing back position for England as well. And I think that defence is pretty much almost set. Maybe take Cahill out and put Maguire in. I'm not too sure why Maguire missed that game. I don't know if
they
anyone
said
else knows.
he might picked up an injury in training, from what I heard. But I don't know if that's
but
true.
I imagine in 10 days' time or whenever England has their first World Cup game, he'll be in the squad. Elsewhere, I think for me, I was fully convinced that Dyer is not the right person to start in that holding midfield position on his own. If you're going to start him there, he has to be alongside Henderson, because I just wasn't convinced that he was doing enough. So I'll stick Henderson there. And then, as you were talking about the attacking trio or quartet, whatever you want to have up there.
So just 3 men.
Yeah, a lot of people are still saying that Vardy potentially should have been starting ahead of Kane, not ahead of Kane, Sterling on that attacking kind of forward position. But it depends how you want to play it.
It's tough though, isn't it? Because they're both big players for England. So,
and I think Dele Alli's proven now that he should be in the starting squad moving forward, because he's got a lot of criticism over the past season at Tottenham, but whenever he's been in and around the England squad, whenever he's been brought on, or when he played against Nigeria at the weekend, he did really well. So I think he should definitely be in that starting lineup. It's just a question now of a couple of hinge players, couple of on the fence players as to whether or not you start them. People like Jesse Lingard, is he good enough to be in the team? Is Sterling consistent enough in terms of a forward taking the chances on and looking to score? Because he did miss quite a few over the weekend against Nigeria. If he had scored one, I think that would have relieved a lot of pressure for him, because of course we know he's been in the news for the past week for a certain tattoo. But I won't get too much into that unless you want us to.
It was a sword, wasn't it?
No, it was a gun. But yeah,
trying to get someone out of that,
it's just a question of whether or not if you're going to start Sterling ahead of Vardy, if Vardy and Kane can work together. That's what I want to see now against Costa Rica. I want Vardy and Kane to start and see how they work together. Really,
I agree.
Because if you bring Vardy off the bench, he's going to be impactful because he's got that pace and hunger.
My worry is substitutes options, because if they both start,
exactly.
If we're in the knockout stage, it's 90 minutes. I mean, you'd think. It's hard to say. You'd think they can play another half an hour, but footballers are not used to it. So.
Yeah, certainly high-paced game sometimes can take a lot out of you. But we know what Vardy can do off the bench for England, and that might be sitting in Gareth Southgate's mind as to, if I got 30 minutes left and we're drawing 1-1 against Belgium, I've got Vincent Kompany sitting back there with Vertonghen and Arndeveld, not exactly the quickest centre-backs in the world. If I bring Jamie Vardy on and start hoofing the ball over the top to him, a decent 6 or 7 times out of 10, he's going to take a shot and hit it towards the goalkeeper. So,
well, it's got Courtois in goal, so they could go between the legs.
But
I'm not disagreeing with you there.
I keep telling Courtois, get yourself a dress.
But yeah, from this England squad, I imagine against Tunisia and Panama, they'll start the way that they did against Nigeria, with a one defensive holder midfielder kind of guy. But then against Belgium, because we know the attacking threat that they can provide, I think it may go a bit more defensive and go on the counter-attack from that. That's what I took from the Nigeria game. That is that. Despite the second half performance where we were critically poor, we should still be able to get the job done against Tunisia and Panama with that kind of formation.
Jack, in the first half, England were attack, and it was a bit hard to believe, thinking, hang on a minute, we're normally a bit shaky no matter what time of the game it is, but Nigeria, a respectable team. They've done well in the last couple of years, but those kits, man. Those shirts, I mean, they're rocking it there. If they don't, even if they go out the group stages, they've won the World Cup just because of that shirt.
I'm so glad you brought the kids up, because I didn't watch the game. So
I could tell from your face. I was reading it and I thought I better come with something.
I just didn't seem interested in it. I mean, when I
saw international friendlies, it's hit and miss, isn't it?
Exactly. And then I saw, I was thinking, I know it's Nigeria and that and they're going to the World Cup and that's great for them. But I still felt like I wanted to see the result and think England would win 3 or 4-0. I mean, they're at Wembley. They need to kick on and start this. I know they won the game, but they need to start the ball rolling, get some goals in, and get this team boosted for confidence. And I think if you go away from that game, yes, you won it, but to only win 2-1 isn't really a massive confidence boost that an England team needs. So,
but this is surely the realism of England football at the moment. It's coming out just on top, maybe, but. the Iceland defeat was only 2 years ago.
It's still getting the job done if you think about it.
Yeah.
But
I'll take that as a win.
You have to take it with a pinch of salt though, because Nigeria are currently ranked as the worst African team in the World Cup, and Tunisia are ranked as the best African team in the World Cup.
We're going to lose 5 now.
So it's quite interesting, really, because we got these friendlies set up against Nigeria and Costa Rica, which is basically our practice for Tunisia and Panama, who are also a South American team. So it'll be interesting to see how we adapt against Panama and what kind of tactics we implement against them, just to see how potentially things could unfold against Costa Rica and not Costa Rica, sorry. You know the way around. It'd be interesting to see how we play against Costa Rica for then a tester for when we play against Panama in the World Cup group stages.
Costa Rica yesterday beat Northern Ireland 3-0. Quite a convincing win, because Northern Ireland are quite, a good team at the moment. Okay, they didn't make the World Cup, but they made the Euros and they got a strong squad there, but just missed out on Costa Rica. We know what they did at the World Cup 4 years ago. They were quarter-finalists. So another team, even though it's just a friendly, another team not to be messed with.
Yeah, and they've got some interesting players as well, haven't they? Yeah, is Brian Ruiz still playing for them? Is he?
I think he is he?
Yeah,
he's not old anyway.
And Joel Campbell, who's still at Arsenal, believe it or not.
Is he still
He's
at
still
Arsenal?
At Arsenal,
because he shined at that World Cup, and everyone thought that will get him the starting lineup.
And, obviously, they got some good players. Good result yesterday against Northern Ireland. And to be honest, I was surprised by the scoreline. I thought it'd be a closer game than that.
Yeah.
They drew with us 0-0 back in 2014. Like you said, they made it to the quarterfinals. So that's something to go by. But
that was a depressing game. Playing against Costa Rica, knowing that they were going to make it to the knockouts and we were already out.
That was between when we had Italy in the group as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, we had Italy and Uruguay, and we lost to Uruguay, and then we were out.
Yeah, we lost to
Suarez bit us twice by scoring twice.
Not theoretically. What's
depressing time.
Forgot what the word is when you say
annoyed.
Yeah, I can't remember the word.
Well, don't say it because it might be a swear word.
When you say that something's happened that hasn't happened, but I forgot what it means. You said it.
An imagination.
Hypothetically, thank you, Jack. I was having a Jamie moment where you can't remember what you're going to say.
Jim Jam.
Obviously, I forgot what I was going to say now.
Yeah, you've had two of those now. Right.
It was good. It was good anyway, the World Cup last time round for Costa Rica. Fun to get to quarterfinals. I reckon going into this game, England might have got the result, but judging by the performance at the weekend, I did predict 2-1, and it was 2-1. But with their result yesterday, probably end up in a draw.
Wow, that's depressing, isn't it?
I'd like to say about Nigeria's kit, I'm not that much of a fan.
Whoa.
Ooh.
I like the shirt itself. I like the green pattern. It's just the sleeves.
I'll say this now. It's the best shirt of the World Cup. There's not many good ones out there.
I'm not a fan of the sleeves being black and grey or something.
I quite like Spain's shirt. That's all right with the yellow on the side, but meh. I feel as though...
What do you think of England's?
That's rubbish, isn't it? It's always rubbish. It's just white and blue.
It's okay.
At least Mexico changed theirs with patterns all the time, but this time it's
what kind of pattern do you want on an England shirt? Do you want a cotton mill or something?
I want a face on it. I want a face of...
You want a bit of the Industrial Revolution on there?
I know. A pattern of the old...
A steam engine, maybe.
No. A pattern of the old... A lion, yes. Yeah. A lion, and actually go... Do what Gary Cahill does on the Lidl adverts and go, raw, and it's just
I'll tell you why Jack's got the good idea.
I'll tell you what, if Gary Cahill...
He's tapped into his inner James Milner and got his Ribena. Very pricey out to do it.
Oh, poor Jack. Boring pricey. Anyway, we're going to have a music break. We're going to talk more about the World Cup. It's, of course, a week on Thursday. The greatest opening game of all time of Russia versus Saudi Arabia. Or if you're Conor Porter... He loves his Simpsons Mexico versus Portugal voiceover. Go on, you do it now. Go on, Russia.
I'll do it after the music break.
Great, we'll get you warmed up. We've got Albo coming up. Not the arm pot, the band. Enjoy. So welcome back to the Let's Talk Sports Show on Calon 105 FM. As I mentioned, we will talk more about the World Cup later on, but we've got to talk about Zinedine Zidane. It's happened. Connor, he's gone.
Has he?
He's gone. I don't know if you heard about it, but apparently he's gone. He's just gone. Thank you for that, Joe. I appreciate that. But he announced it. We even had our group chat where I think it was you, Connor, who said, there's a press conference coming up at 12.
Insider knowledge, mate.
You mean the internet?
Yeah.
and then
Reddit.
It's pretty much.
Reddit. I don't go on there. But I think we all kind of gathered, didn't we? We all kind of guessed it when that press conference had been announced that was going to happen. what else was it going to be? You know, it was no other topic unless they were going to say Bale's going or something like that to United, which would have been great. But
yeah, I mean, that would have been the first, like doing a whole grand press conference just to announce that, you know, someone's on the transfer market. It's like, bring your bids in now, people.
Well,
come on.
Mate, I was good when Bebe didn't get that. You know,
No,
you
you
It's
didn't get
going to
that.
be a live auction for players.
Yeah.
Like, how much you want?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
It'd be like the
quid.
It'd be like the Indian Premier
So-
League in cricket, isn't it?
exactly.
You know.
We
That's how it should actually work.
Everyone just
now.
goes to
That's-
Real Madrid over the summer and just auctions on their players.
Well, that's what happened to Ben Stokes. I thought he's going to be worth 100,000. Nope, he was worth 2 million. Shows how much I know.
Can I get 300 million for Ronaldo? 300, 350, 375, 400, 450, 475.
I think it'd be a bit higher than
I
that.
wouldn't give him that.
I wouldn't even.
1 billion.
one
Always
bi-
in
well,
the buyout clause.
Actually, Real Madrid's it is around that. So
It's 1 billion.
He'll-
My sources tell me it's £1 billion.
Anyway, let's talk about the manager.
Back to Zidane.
In all fairness, though, I'll say this about him: he won everything, and he did the Champions League 3 times.
He didn't win
Yeah.
the Copa del Rey, I don't think.
Oh, I'd rather not win that.
So he
than
didn't
the
technically
the
win.
Calon Cup. Oh no.
It's their version of the FA.
Yeah, he had a great time at Real Madrid over the past 3 years, ever since taking over for Rafa Benitez, and you know, won the Champions
Al's
League,
toy barn.
won the Champions League 3 times, won the La Liga, won the Club World Cup as well.
Yeah,
So-
he won. Yeah, 2. Oh, he's going to miss out, isn't he? This year.
So he's done he did a great job at Real Madrid. It's just a question now as to what's next for him and what's next for Real Madrid, because in both cases it seems to be a bit of a mystery, really. You would think maybe Zidane takes a year off and see what other opportunities come next summer.
They've all done that, haven't they? Some of these big managers.
And he can definitely afford to do so. I mean, enjoy the World Cup and whatnot. And
never had to be a manager in the first place. let's be
yeah,
honest.
and see where it takes you. But in terms of Real Madrid now, they're really dashing around to try and find their next manager. You know, they already tried to talk to Pochettino already, but Tottenham have signed him into a new deal, and he's already said that
I love
he's
it.
pretty much happy to.
How could you be happy living in North London when you could live in Madrid?
Well, you got a huge new stadium coming along, haven't you? So it's like, and you
It's
got
only your work office.
probably one of the best up and coming teams in the Premier League in terms of trying to get stuff done.
Oh.
Well,
yeah.
what has United done?
Well, we finished above them, first of all. We beat them at Wembley at their home
Finish
turf. at the FA
runners up
Cup,
in the
so-
Premier League, didn't you?
Yeah, better than 3rd or 4th, whoever they were.
Oh,
You know.
and then runners up in the FA Cup.
I'll take that.
No, okay.
It's better than being close. We beat them on the way, so
Runners
you know.
up in the FA Cup or runners up in the Champions League, which one would you prefer?
Neither.
Neither's good, but go on.
Neither.
I probably the FA Cup. Being runners up the Champions League is not. You just get
More
mocked.
money in it.
If you get the whole of Europe mocking
You get mocked.
At least
get beat by
if
a
you run
penalty.
us up in the FA Cup, you could be back home in like 2 hours.
Yeah, that's true.
If you run us up in the Champions
Actually, if you're
League.
Chelsea, it's just walk down the road. It's a
Yeah.
10-minute walk.
Anyway, back to Zidane again. I think
Who's that?
that Real Madrid potentially should look for someone that's younger, just to be a stopgap maybe, and then see if they can bring in Pochettino next summer, because I think this next year at Tottenham is going to be really big for Pochettino and the whole football club as a whole. Because if they're not able to bring in the requirements that he wants for this football club to progress them forward into the Champions League and eventually, be more competing for the Premier League
Europa
title,
League. Oh, sorry, yeah.
for the Premier League title. No, that's this guy.
Oh, yeah,
right
that's
here.
me.
I don't mind.
I think they could potentially get Pochettino next summer. So I think stopgap for now. And there's been talks about I think it's Guti, the one who used to play
Pardew?
for. Oh yeah, he'll be a good one as well. He's a good stopgap. He'll
Think Nagelsmann
he'll
would?
be good. But I think Guti would be a good one because he's I think he's the under 21s or under 18s, one of the other manager right now. Obviously a former legend of the football club, played in the Galacticos era, so you know what it takes to win. And if he's in the under 21s, then he's obviously got some sort of good man management that Perez likes to keep him at the football club. So
I'm surprised they're not doing what Derby County.
have him as a stopgap for a year, see what he does after a year. If he's earned the right to have the job after a year, then give it to him. But if not, then you can obviously still keep him in the club or let him go elsewhere if he wants to. But yeah, I think that's what Real Madrid should do for now, and just to see whether or not they can get Pochettino next summer.
I'm surprised they haven't done what Derby County and Rangers have done. Oh, let's just pick a player from the past and just employ him as a
Put all the
manager.
They did that
names in a
once
hat.
already with Zidane, didn't they? So
Yeah, but Zidane was managing the youth team before that.
They should have all
So-
put their names in a hat and gone, Marcelo.
Yeah. or in the past, you look at the likes of Roberto Carlos, come back here, and Roberto Carlos probably doesn't even know where he is most of the time, and Figo would headbutt you, if you didn't play for him. Simple as that. But anyway,
do you reckon Nagelsmann would be a good choice? Seeing as Conor was saying, a young manager, fresh ideas, great attacking style of play from Hoffenheim.
He's already signed a new deal, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, but it's not going to cost as much as Pochettino to get him out of his contract, is it?
I mean, Jack,
it's still going to cost him a lot, though, because he just signed a new deal.
I don't think Pochettino will be there for a while yet. Because he said in his press conference, he said, I've got all the time in the world. He said, there's 2 teams I want to manage. One's Real Madrid.
5 years, to be exact.
He won't be there for 5 years at Tottenham, but I don't think he'll go to Madrid straight away because he knows that he's got so long in his managerial career. He's still young in terms of being a manager, so he wants to manage Real Madrid and he wants to manage his national team in Argentina, and he's got a chance to do that. I still think he's going to have a couple more years at Spurs because, like Conor said, they've got a new stadium. He's trying to get the players in for that, and he's trying to push for the Premier League. So I still think he's got a job to do there. But I think for Real Madrid, I think they need to find somebody actually quite long term. I know Conor says go short, but if Pochettino signed a 5-year deal and he sort of wants to see that through, then they need to find somebody that they feel like can do the job.
The problem is with Real Madrid is that it's always been a football club where the president runs things a lot. Perez has done a lot for the football club over the past couple of years. Since like 2010 when he took it over. Obviously his big one is signing Gareth Bale, and with this manager that comes in, he needs to realise that he's not going to be in charge fully of these transfers and whatnot because Perez has a lot of control over that, and it's difficult to find a manager like that these days because they always want to import their vision onto whatever football club that they come to. It's why I think Rafa Benitez really didn't get along at Real Madrid because he didn't have that full kind of control, and while he's struggling at Newcastle at the moment.
And let's be honest, managers that go to Madrid have never had that control before, in terms of the money's there. I can get any player I want, really.
Do you think Jose Mourinho didn't last that long there? Carlo Ancelotti didn't last that long there, but we all think of them as world-class managers. It's difficult to see what kind of manager might go to there.
Look at Man United right now. I mean, I'm not saying Mourinho is not signing Fred, but something tells me he's probably not signing him. It's probably the club. Ed Woodward does a lot of signings without Mourinho's permission.
I mean, you got to give credit to Ed Woodward because he's done a good job over the past couple of years.
No, he doesn't have a good taste of signings. We've had some rubbish signings. Exactly.
Well, he managed to bring Pogba back, brought in Lukaku.
Been all right.
89 and 90 million pound.
I like Pogba, but he hasn't proven himself yet. But hopefully he does.
Wenger's bookies favourites for the Madrid job at the moment.
No,
it's a bit strange.
It was Pochettino, I thought.
But he's dropped down yesterday to second favourite, so now it's Wenger. It's really weird. It's not 2008.
I was going to say Wenger, but Connor's just said, the fact that Perez runs the club, and that's true, and the fact that Wenger...
And he ran Arsenal.
Wenger, he ran that club, and he's not going to... I know he's, obviously wants to keep working, but he's not going to drop down. He wants to manage a club as in the whole base, so he won't...
The reason why the Real Madrid system might work for Wenger is because Wenger's always been a fan of youth, and Real Madrid love pushing through their youth, and we've seen through the past 2 seasons or so with like Isco getting more start time, as Casemiro getting in, Marco Asensio, players like that, Carvajal as well getting more opportunities. Players like that, he can definitely fit into that kind of system. But then at the end of the day, when it comes to Real Madrid, they're always going to be looking to sign the top players at the football club as well. So I don't think Arsene Wenger might not be too bothered by the fact that he doesn't have full control over whatever has happened in the transfer window, because he's already got quite a decent team ahead of him, and he doesn't really need to improve upon it that much. I mean, if you look at that Real Madrid team, where do you think the improvement's needed?
Quite an old team now.
It's an old team, but they've got a lot of young bucks ready to go.
I mean, Bale can easily stay. He's got plenty of time. But the likes of Ronaldo, when does he start packing up?
Well, he's fit as a fiddle if you've seen him.
Well,
on
yeah.
He said he's going to play until he's mid-40s. That's what he says. I don't think he can, but...
I mean, it depends what club by then, but
China.
Maybe. China, America, no, come on, LA Galaxy. But yeah, it's a strange one because there's not many available. And... as you say, I think you're probably right. It is probably the younger managers.
If you look at other managers around the world, Allegri's not going to go because of that issue of not being able to control the transfers. Conte's already having a problem at Chelsea because he can't get some of the players in and whatnot. And it's just like, and no manager is going to walk into that situation and think I've got full control, because we've seen in the past with Mourinho, Ancelotti, Benitez, all world-class managers get them the boot if the results aren't right, and that was just going to happen to Zidane if he had lost this Champions League final, but he managed to win it, and now he's gone out on his own terms, kept his integrity intact. So yeah, done a good job.
So just to quickly ask you all, Joe, who do you think should be the next Real Madrid manager?
Don't have a clue, to be honest.
Just name one.
We'll go Wenger then.
Wenger, fair enough.
Just for a laugh.
Jack?
Can you imagine if Luis Enrique became manager for them?
You know what? Barcelona would hate him the moment he walked
Didn't he play
there.
for both clubs anyway? Or
Well, Figo did, didn't he? So they've all done it, haven't they? The Barcelona and then the Madrid. Well, Neymar could be one day playing for Madrid. So
that's another thing as well. They desperately want to bring in Neymar, and that's probably going to be their biggest transfer target. So whoever comes in needs to learn and realize
and accept it. Yeah,
that's going to be it, because Perez just absolutely loves him. So that's why I'm going to go for Guti, actually.
But I mean, do you think some of these transfer rumors are ridiculous? Where Real Madrid would be happy to get rid of Bale and Ronaldo just to bring in Neymar, and
I don't think they'll get rid of Bale and Ronaldo.
I was going to say that's two. I'd rather have them two than just Neymar. But Ronaldo is aging, but I'd still rather have them two. I like Bale. I don't think Neymar's. I like Neymar, but I like Bale and Ronaldo as well. But anyway, that's my thoughts. That's my thoughts. Anyway, we're going to have a music break, and let us know what you think. If you're on YouTube, comment below who you think should be the next manager of Real Madrid. And to any of you who watch Arsenal Fan TV, I'm looking at you, Claude. Don't you dare put not Arsene Wenger, because we already know you don't like him. Get over it. He might be a secret boyfriend. We'll be right back.
Calon FM on 105 FM, uniting our community.
Yep, you are listening to Calon 105 FM, and we've just had some football, some World Cup, some manager talks, and the World Cup hasn't even begun yet. Oh, it's football heaven. But we must move on to another sport, because this weekend it is the Canadian Grand Prix, and we will be at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, who, of course, was the father of Jacques Villeneuve. And yeah, sadly, it was Jacques Villeneuve who became the world champion and not Gilles. So the only Canadian to ever do it. Oh well. Lance Stroll. I love it how you say that. I can't hear you because you're right far away from the mic, I'm afraid. He says.
Because I didn't want to say it.
Well, I think maybe when all the other cars have retired from each race, maybe.
Lance Stroll 2022, mate.
That's specific. It's going to be a campaign for it.
Yeah, you put it here first.
I'll tell you what, you're very generous. Him making it for another 4 more years of F1.
Yeah, mate.
That's wow.
Surprised if he gets next year.
Well, Stroppy Stroll, as I like to call him. But it's the 7th round. This is a proper circuit. This is one where anyone can go out at any point. The Wall of Champions will tell you that. Who could it be? A world champion going into it this weekend? Maybe Lewis Hamilton, maybe Vettel, maybe just Alonso, even if he's 10th.
Yeah. Well, we just want Alonso to do well anyway.
Yeah.
So I hope he doesn't go in the wall, because he had a poor, he had a difficult Monaco one, and obviously we were talking about how he could have been at Indy. Instead of being at Monaco. Yeah. So, hopefully it gets better for him. But yeah, like you said, it's probably one of the ones I look forward to the most on the calendar. Because I know, we said it last week, Monaco is the one to watch as a spectacle, but it's not for the race. We don't watch it for the race. Whereas Canada...
I can't believe the reactions we've had from Monaco. As in what F1's saying, all the F1 fans saying Monaco needs to change. I'm thinking, why does it? I know what you mean. It's not exactly the best to watch, but you try and drive on that circuit on an F1 car. It is the biggest challenge of the year.
They've made it worse because they made the cars bigger.
Yeah, exactly.
So there's no way you're going to overtake. That half the time they only overtake because of the strategy or the pit stops.
But they should keep it. They shouldn't change it. It should stay as it is. Just because it had one strange, odd race.
I think because it's probably one of them, the only race really on the calendar where you've won the race by Saturday unless something major happens.
Yeah.
I think we should leave it like that simply because it puts more emphasis on the qualifying. So everybody on Saturday goes, well, this is the Sunday really. This is the big one. If we get pole, we've basically won the race.
And Red Bull deserved it. Fastest
and
car.
they did a fantastic job. If Max Verstappen hadn't hit the wall in the morning, he might have been 1-2. They might have been 1-2. So
I wouldn't even doubt that either.
They had a great weekend really for Red Bull, and obviously Christian Horner said that Daniel Ricciardo's literally just put his price up for everybody.
Yeah.
For us as well to try and buy him into the contract.
Guess how much? From $5 million to $7 million.
Easily, that's. I think that's what he was waiting for. He was like, I want to see if this car's good, and if it gets me a few wins, that obviously helps me in the long run wherever I go.
He needs to win on the weekend for me if he's going to compete in this championship.
Max
Verstappen did say the car's got good pace for this weekend.
Well, I hope it has, because that was the only worry. The only worry I had is that, as it being a more power circuit, you favour Mercedes and Ferrari.
Yeah.
Whereas if, like we said last week, all they need to do really is reliability a little bit in terms of Red Bull and getting a bit more pace in that car. And if they can upgrade that, because Renault are bringing upgrades to all the engines.
They are, yes.
So hopefully McLaren's a little bit better as well.
No, they'll get the worst deal of it. Come on.
Yeah, we'll give you 1 extra
Yeah.
horsepower.
Why do we only get that? Because there's a Renault dedicated team over there in yellow.
We just give it all to them.
Just give it all to them.
But so hopefully all the cars, Renault powered cars, are going to get more of a boost this time, and that's what we want. If a Red Bull wins this weekend, like you said, that really puts the whole championship and the constructors to an extent as well.
Yeah.
It puts it all into a bit of what's going to happen, and that's what we wanted at the start of the season. We were worried that Mercedes were going to run away with it, or it was just going to be Mercedes and Ferrari, and let's hope that Red Bull can do that.
Just to quickly mention other motorsport, what did Alonso do this weekend? He was fastest in the Mon in the testing. Do I have to draw a picture?
There you go.
Yeah, just draw it there.
Thank you. Let me just write this and just basically say, I'll write in a moment, but can I just say, that guy is getting more and more bad criticism every week, and it's annoying me in forums. Well, not hire me. I meant, never mind. But basically,
Why is he getting bad criticism?
He's getting bad criticism, saying because he's not getting his way anymore, and stuff like he's got to leave F1. I would love to see him stay in F1, but I actually worry that this is his last year, and people are starting to say. Could have done a better throw than that. Aim at my face.
I was trying to make sure that it didn't hit your microphone, because if it hit your microphone and it fell into your nose, then that's going to hurt a lot more than me throwing a piece of paper.
Could have gone right up there.
Yeah,
it could
have had it stuck up there.
Now I have a.
Can I say as well? Speaking of microphones, about Lewis Hamilton potentially winning a music career. I mean. You two guys could get together and get a track going or whatnot. It seems you want to be a DJ. He can be like your MC for you. Drop a track,
New EP coming out.
You got a future.
You know what Hamilton's going to call himself? MC Hammer. Oh wait, someone's already got that. Or no, Hammer Time. Hammer Time. No, I did see that. David Coulthard said in an article that he wouldn't be surprised if he left in 2020 at the end of that season.
I'm actually thinking potentially he could, because what else has he got left to prove, really?
Beat Schumacher's record. He could
do that this season, couldn't he?
No, he's still got 3 more left.
Still got 3 more. Yeah. And race wins. He's not far off from that. He's got 15 to go, I think.
I think the worry is for him is that he wants to end this generation as the best. So if he leaves early and Vettel then goes on to win a couple more championships, then Vettel in a sense.
And we know who's a better driver.
We do, let's be honest.
But
Hamilton won't want to lose that in terms of how many championships they both won when they retired. So I think it all depends on how these next 2 years go. I mean, he still hasn't signed a new contract for Mercedes yet, so we don't know how many years that's going to be.
Niki Lauda said it's going to happen. It's just
of course it is. He's got nowhere else to go, is he?
No. McLaren. Go back there.
Yeah, Alonso going to be like, you can take that seat if you want.
I peed in it for you.
But again, we talk about Le Mans. Alonso's there, Jenson Button's there this year as well.
He said he's a bit worried.
Yeah, didn't he do only 14 laps or something?
Yeah, but he's a bit worried that Alonso's there.
Yeah, that's it. Like,
That's
all
what
the
he
times to go, Alonso's going to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably one of the first times I'm going to try and watch as much of Le Mans as possible, because I haven't really watched the sport.
It's on Eurosport.
Is it?
Yeah, I think.
Damn.
Have you not got Eurosport?
No.
It's like £1 a month on an iPad.
Yeah, I know, but I only want to watch Le Mans.
It's a long race.
But yeah, I mean, I know we're probably going to talk a little bit more in depth on the podcast, but like we said, one of the favourite tracks of the year. So I'm really looking forward to the Canada guy.
As you mentioned, we will have more about this on the Pole Position podcast when we preview the Canadian Grand Prix and talk about the latest rumours because, oh my God, there's a few rumours this week that are just ridiculous.
They're the best ones.
They are the best ones, especially Robert Kubica to Toro Rosso. I can't believe that's a rumour, but I had to talk about it. It's, yeah. Does no one ever follow F1's Red Bull program? They don't bring in outsiders.
Well, Verstappen never follows Red Bull's program because he crashes all the time. So,
Connor, what's your beef with Verstappen?
He won his first race in a Red Bull car. Just saying. And it was his first ever race.
Was it Toro Rosso?
Nope.
No.
In the secondary team?
No. Vettel, actually, funny enough, here's a story. Toro Rosso are supposed to be the B team of Red Bull. Yet they won a race before Red Bull ever did in 2008. That was hilarious. And I bet you, come on, guess who it was?
Mark Webber.
No.
David Coulthard.
Vettel.
No. I was going through all the names.
They weren't they the Red Bull drivers
Well,
at the time?
let's be honest. Yeah, they were. Coulthard and Mark Webber were just the you're the experience. We just need you until we've got these learning how to drive, basically. Anyway, we're going to have a music break, and when we come back, we will talk more about football and maybe a bit of the French Open. We'll be right back after this music break. Jimi Hendrix with Fire. And I remember ITV before the 2010 World Cup would have that song as their preview to the World Cup. I just thought, play it now. And it has been incredibly hot today here in Wrexham in North Wales. Anyway, we're going to talk about a bit more football. We're going to have a talk on the transfer rumours because, to be honest, we've got to fill a bit of time before the World Cup actually begins next Thursday. I can't wait. Calm down, Connor. Calm down. Calm down. It's just the World Cup.
I haven't said anything. My voice and your voice are two very different, unique voices, and we don't sound the same at all. So.
From what I learned in my DJ lesson, if you mix things together, they can sound exactly the same. Anyway, I didn't put that magic on today. No. But anyway,
what was the lesson for then?
Never mind. Joe, you were about to say something about Leeds?
Yeah, in advanced talks with Marcelo Bielsa.
With Beyonce?
Bielsa.
I thought that was Beyonce.
Beyonce is going to come on and be a central defensive midfielder.
I know Beyonce's on a tour at the moment, but she might not have time.
She's quite tall, apparently, so she might be good at the back.
Okay. Anyway, we better not carry on with that conversation because we might end up somewhere. Something that Fabio Priatore will probably do, but anyway. Let's talk about the transfer rumours, the actual proper ones. Obviously, at the moment, there's links to Fred from Shakhtar Donetsk to join Manchester United. Now, normally, Connor, Brazilians don't normally do well for Manchester United.
No, I mean, you looked in the past of people like Bebe going in there.
He was Portuguese.
And Anderson. Well, he's basically the same
Rafael.
thing.
What was his brother?
Fabio.
And Fabio.
Fabio was okay. Fabio was terrible.
Anderson, these...
Oh, no, Anderson scored a penalty in the penalty shootout.
Anderson was a god for United.
Yeah. Didn't he win you the League Cup or something in 2008 with the winning penalty?
Yeah, he did. And he scored the winning penalty
He's
against
one of the worst
lot.
players to ever win the Champions League.
Yeah. So's Wes Brown. He won it twice. More than Gerrard.
Jonathan Greening.
What?
Jonathan Greening won the Champions League.
Oh, God, yeah.
With United.
And Sissoko.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll have to do a list of that.
What's
Sissoko?
so
you know which one. Come on. Your team.
Mohamed Sissoko. Is it Mohamed Sissoko?
No,
I don't know the first name,
I
to be
don't know.
honest.
Momo Sissoko didn't win it for Liverpool.
Pongolle.
I thought he did.
No. Momo Sissoko.
I thought he was known as like the worst Champions League winner of all time.
Jimmy Traore won it.
Traore, sorry. I don't know where Sissoko came from. Apologies.
Sissoko was in the 2007 team, I think.
That's why I didn't win.
That'll be it then. Well, no, it's because you had Jermaine Pennant. Anyway, transfer rumours. So, I mean, as mentioned with Fred Connor, what can people expect?
He's a good defensive midfielder, I think he is. And, with Shakhtar Donetsk, he's always been there for quite some time, and City tried to get him in January as well. So he's definitely a good quality player. But it is a case of getting over that voodoo that seems to be at United for Brazilian players. They just don't seem to do well there whatsoever.
In all fairness, though, you're absolutely right. It is a voodoo, but we did sign players that didn't really do well for Brazil anyway. So I don't know what Fred's like, so I don't know.
Or
When I first heard of Fred, I thought it was the striker. I was like, no, not that overweight guy.
no, I mean he should be able to do a decent job for United, but it spells as to where Herrera is going to be in the future. Now, really, I think. I don't think he's got much long left at the football club, but this is still bringing in Mourinho's image of United still, because obviously they, you can talk about however much you want about winning the Community Shield and the Europa League and
I'll tell you that.
and the FA Cup, was it, or the League Cup? League
yeah,
Cup, but I don't think Jose Mourinho is walking into Manchester United and saying, "Oh, I'm going to win the European League and that's about it. I'm going to be done here and it's going to be so great and everything."
Well,
no,
he's going to bring year now because he only stays 3 years.
Yeah,
Normally leaves midway.
He's had a contract, so he's got his big payday when he goes.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, what are you doing there? But yeah, this is still Mourinho bringing his image into the football club. Let's see where it goes from here, really, with Fred from Shakhtar Donetsk, because he is a good quality player. I think he's in the Brazil squad, or maybe just missed out.
Yeah,
but,
no, he is.
that says something, and hopefully be able to make an impact that Jose Mourinho desires at Manchester United.
Another rumour I didn't like to see was Marko Arnautovic being linked to United. £50 million.
How much?
£50 million if that's what Sky Sources told us.
Well.
Which could have been Jimmy.
He was watching him the other day, wasn't he, Mourinho?
He was, yeah. He watched him the other day, and apparently Arnautovic said in the press conference he was rather surprised he was interested in him because they had problems at Inter Milan in the past or something like that. But he's not worth 50 million.
Very strange one.
I don't know why you would want to bring him in either.
You don't need him.
Back up, maybe.
To what?
But
I don't know.
You're just paying him to sit on the bench then?
Yeah.
He'll take that. I mean,
He'll take
he's
that.
hardly done anything in his football career to
He'll take that, but
warrant
the United
anything
fans
else at a big club, because you already mentioned about
Does
it.
that mean Martial's gone then? If you buy him,
Now William's coming in.
well, how many places do you need?
Well, we just need
This
William.
is a problem with Mourinho again. You talk about the Fred signing, but they're still ignoring the defence completely. They're not supporting that defence at all, because you're walking into next season with Phil Jones, Chris Smalling, and Eric Bailly, who can
Eric Bailly's a good defender.
can't stay on the pitch though.
Yeah, that's the problem. He's like Vincent Kompany. He can't stay on the pitch.
Lindelof
as well. The Swedish magic is still there at United, even though Ibrahimovic has left. So
Hey, they've got some Eurovision magic. That's about it.
Or be dancing his all the way off the field because he's just absolutely terrible. But United for me need to improve their defence if they want to get close to City, because they've already got the attacking set up pretty much there already, but Mourinho just doesn't know how to work it.
So, Jack, any transfer rumours you've seen this week that made you think really that's going to happen?
Nope.
Neymar to Stoke City, come on.
What do you think of Malcolm being linked from Bordeaux to Chelsea? Would you want him at Chelsea over if he's going to potentially replace Willian if he leaves the football club?
I mean, to be fair, I think transfer policies is the last thing Chelsea should be thinking about right now, if I'm brutally honest.
Let's talk about this actually. Where do you stand now with Roman Abramovich? Do you think potentially he could leave the club in the next year or so because of everything that's happening?
Hey! He's not Russian. He's Israeli now.
Well, yeah, he's got this Israeli visa, citizenship and whatnot. His UK citizenship's been denied. The delay on the building of the new stadium. He's not happy with Conte, but Conte's not leaving. They can't get Sarri from Napoli because
Why
they still
would you
want
him,
though? He's
never won anything in his life.
But he got close to Juventus. This is the problem.
Wow.
It's sitting into the natural case of Chelsea's mantra. Getting close to things and failing to achieve it after the end of the season.
Did we win
the Champions League?
Did we win the FA Cup?
The FA Cup, well done.
Yeah. Better season than us, really. But no.
Where do you stand on this, though? Do you think Abramovich is potentially leaving the football club, or do you think he could still stay there for a little bit while longer?
No, he's not going to go anywhere. Just because the UK are not letting him back into the country, there's no way he's not investing into the club.
Can I just say, Roman Abramovich is a let's be honest, he didn't get rich by being clean. So I will. I'm saying the honest.
Oil is a dirty substance, so I'm not.
Well, no. Have you read about some of his stuff he got up to before he did oil?
Toys and stuff.
Seriously, there's some dodgy stuff he did to get to where he was doing with oil. But what I will say is, this whole thing's just another hurdle for him. He'll get it. the guy's got the money to change everything. He'll change the system. He'll be fine. I wouldn't worry about Roman Abramovich at Chelsea. I think he'll do anything to make sure he stays there because that is his baby, along with his oil company. I'll be very surprised if he does go anytime soon. That's all I'm saying. We'll find out, but I don't think there'll be a problem. He sorted out his citizenship with Israel. He only got that because he had a place there. I love it. It's great. The control a rich man can have. Anyway, we must end the show. We've had a very interesting hour.
Can I ask you a question? You wanted to talk about the French Open. What's the name of the female British number one?
Hannah Conter.
Yeah. What do you think of her comments about blaming the media for getting knocked out in the first round once more? Was it the fourth year on the trot now?
I can understand. I mean, it's
because
like
Ollie Holt made a joke that we should be treating her like she's already the champion, and then that way she won't be able to fall over hurdles.
I will say this now: she's a very good tennis player.
Just not in France.
But in all fairness, the British media does not help. Like, whenever England, already before the World Cup, they're going on about Sterling's gun tattoo. I don't care. He can do whatever he likes. He can have Hitler on his arm. I don't care.
That'll be a big extreme.
I was saying to Jack and Connor,
I just think
if he scores, he's got to roll down his sock, and one of the other players has got to pick up his leg. And
yeah, that would be. I would love to see that.
That
would be the best World Cup celebration of all time.
They said Jamie Vardy would do something like that.
Yeah,
and to be honest, I could see it happening, but I just hope it doesn't happen.
Jamie Vardy just doesn't care.
Because otherwise, the Sun will have a field day.
Horrible newspaper.
The question is, how many bullets? Would it be just the one shot, or would you make sure it's everywhere? So he is down. Poor Vardy. Poor Vardy's going to be the victim. Anyway, thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching on YouTube as well. Make sure you do subscribe to the Let's Talk Sports Show. And as always, we'll be back here next Monday at 8 o'clock on Calon 105 FM. So my thanks to Conor Porter, Jack Price, and Joe Stanley which has been quite a dreadful show, to be honest. But we'll be back next week.
It's too hot in here.